My name is Nigel, and 7 years ago I was involved in a freak accident racing motorcycles. Ended up suffering major brain damage and I was in a coma for 11 days. And when I came out of the coma, I'm now partially blind. I've got bilateral purchase retinopathy, and obviously that causes me a lot of issues now. I'm classified as visually impaired. So we're here this morning to test an electric speedway bike that I've totally hand built in my workshop. The frame is from probably mid-80s. Normally it would have a 500cc single Jawa engine in it, in the upright position. The modern speedway bikes, the engine is laid down for different centre of gravity. They realise that a lay-down engine is better for speedway, but the original ones had an upright engine. So I've used an upright frame. Ordinarily, this would be the cylinder head and barrel. It'd have an exhaust coming out, and then round here would be the flywheel. It would then come to what we call a counter shaft with a clutch on it. There'd be one gear in there, only one gear. So obviously with this being electric now, there's no need for a counter shaft, there's no need for a clutch. So it's straight drive off the motor to the back wheel. The electric motor is a ME 1304, which is roughly about 13 kilowatts peak power. It's got a Sevcon Gen 6 controller in it, and then 4 12-volt batteries in series, so that makes 12, 24, 36, 48. So this system runs on a 48-volt system. So the batteries feed the controller, and then the controller has a signal from the throttle, and that then sends power down these wires to the motor. Roughly mid-80s frame. It was an invention on the original style frames to give a bit better feel to the rider, and it had good reviews in its time. It was called the Godden Wiggler frame. It's got a rigid back end, and then it's got leading link forks on the front with a minimum suspension. They don't need suspension, to be fair. This frame was invented primarily to give a little bit of flex so the rider felt a bit better on it. This tank is probably from the late 50s to 60s, to be fair, because then they went to aluminium tanks. But I've only got the tank in there to fill the frame out and to make it look like a proper speedway bike. Yeah, it's what it is. It's better than I thought it was going to be, but I don't know if it's going to be quite right for racing or not, you know what I mean? It's not very fast. So for 27 years I had my own business as an auto electrician, so there's no more petrol head than me, but equally I have an affinity for electrics. So I just wanted to give something for me to get up for in the morning, give me something to get out of bed for, to design and build. So it's been a massive achievement for me, and then today has been the icing on the cake, because we brought it here to Scunthorpe Speedway track. I've actually rode it round the track. That's mission accomplished. So the bits was quite easy to find. One, you know, I searched on the internet, but once I found Phil at Voltsport, then bang, everything was there, you know what I mean? I sourced the batteries myself. I have a guess that it cost me probably 1,200 quid. It's come out in the wash that my bike isn't quite as fast as I was hoping, to be honest, but equally, you know, nobody can build anything without testing it. Obviously Steve he rode my bike, as you saw, and he got a bit of a skid on it. Not quite as good as he did on his petrol engine, but it's nothing to do with petrol versus electric. That wasn't the issue. It was Nigel's bike versus Steve's bike.
For me, the difference is Speedway's all about throttle control, and you get a feel for the bike using the throttle. With the electric bike, you don't have that. It's all or nothing, and it's very, very strange to get used to it. You know, whereas with a normal throttle, you can feather it, roll it back. You roll it back on there, the engine just dies. I think there's a place for it. I don't think it'll ever take over from conventional Speedway. The only difference I noticed was there's no sound. The only time you heard was the guys coming around the corner and the wheels skidding. That's all you could hear. No, I have to say it's not for me. It's not.
I managed to not fall off it, so no, I was just buzzing, absolutely buzzing.